Those of you who are familiar with the Hanel lean lift are aware that one of the key features is that every time a shelf goes in, light beams measure the height of the product, and it's that function that allows the machine to calculate where it should position the shelf in the machine and exactly how much room to allow for that shelf in the machine. That way the shelf above it can be stored very close above the shelf below. It is of course a little bit different to storing product on a traditional shelf though, because these shelves do move. They do move in and out, and we do have these light beams measuring the height. So there's two things to consider for the operator who's going to be putting product into the lift. First of all, if you are stacking product on top of each other, maybe you're tempted to do that. Now in some cases that may be okay if the product is quite heavy and stable. If the product was quite light though, or was prone to falling off, that would be unwise, because obviously if the shelf moves in and then the product falls off in behind, that will potentially cause a jam. It may in fact fall completely inside the machine, jam behind the shelf, or cause some other problem. It may damage the product or just cause the shelf to stick, and then we do in fact have to come and release that jam. So that would be the first thing to be aware of. Just take some consideration about how you stack the product to make sure it's not going to fall off. The other thing to consider would be items such as this box here. Now what we have here is a carton, fairly typical. Somebody's cut the packing tape, so we've got flaps that flap open. Now if that was sitting there and it went inside of the lift and the light beams measure the height of this product, then it's going to allow this much space and put the shelf just above it. However, after that box has gone in, it may well do that after the lift has read the height being that. So that means that when that is inserted into the lift, if there's already a shelf here, it'll push that off. So it is best to either tape them down or cut them off, or use a different container. Or in this case we could store that at a lower height than the larger box, and then that is not going to cause a problem. So there's a couple of tips for today just on how to store product in the Hanel lean lift, and if you keep an eye on those two factors, then you'll find that you'll get a long trouble-free life out of the Hanel lean lift.